All right, this video is going to cover multiplying and dividing. So basically it says here apply distributive property or FOIL. So if we are going to multiply, remember this says f times g of x. You're not doing anything with that x, so don't do anything. Don't multiply x or anything. So all that means is you're going to take your f function and multiply it to your g function, which means you have to do distributive property. So 3, 1, that gives you 5x to the 4th, and 5 times 1 gives you the same thing. Okay, now when you dividing, you guys are going to love that. And I'm not even going to rewrite it. When you divide, if you can't cancel anything out, because of this minus sign, we can't cancel these out. This is your answer. You just have to add one thing, okay? You have to add what's called the domain. So you have to say if x does not equal 1. And the reason why you have to add that domain is because if you put 1 in there, it's going to give you 0 in the denominator, and we can't have that. That's not allowed. That's not allowed. Okay, so if we come down here, it's k times h of x. So it'll be x minus 2 times x squared minus 2x plus 3. Now I'm going to show you on the next page how we can multiply that nicer. So we're going to kind of skip that for right now. And then here we're going to divide. So we take our f of x function, which is 2x plus 3, divided by our k of x, which is x minus 2. So this is the answer. But we have to add a domain. So basically we have to say that if x does not equal 2, then this is our answer. Now, why am I choosing 2? Because if I put 2 right here, then 2 minus 2 will give me 0. Another way to identify what would go in for your domain is to just do x minus 2 equals 0. We do not want this to be equal to 0, the denominator. So we find out that when x equals 2, this won't work. So that's why we have to add that last part. And then here, f of x divided by g of x, which is x squared minus 1. And then I need my if. So of course I can go to the side and set that equal to 0. Now remember, this is x squared. So when you take the square root, x can't be positive 1 and x can't be negative 1. So you gotta say if x does not equal plus or minus 1. Okay, so now how do we multiply that? We're going to use the box method. Remember the box method? So remember with the box method, you put each part on top and then you just multiply. So here we do x squared times x, which is actually supposed to give us x cubed, etc. So let's look at this example. We're going to multiply. So I'm going to, because I don't know if that's a good example, because I don't know what these arrows are. So let's go. We got x squared, 3x, 1, x squared, negative 5x, 2. Okay. So now the box method says we do x squared times x squared, which we know is x to the 4th. X squared times 3x would be x cubed with the 3 in front. And then x squared times 1 is x squared. Negative 5x times x squared is negative 5 with a cube, x cubed. Negative 5x times 3x is negative 15x squared, because that's 2 x's. Negative 5x times 1 is negative 5x. 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times 3x is 6x. And 2 times 1 is 2. So now once you get all of your things inside your box, you're going to combine your like terms. Now, everything I'm circling, I'm going to add. Okay? So all of your like terms, you're going to add. So everything I'm circling, I'm going to add. So combine like terms means to add. So every time you see me write CLT, that means combine like terms. So now my final answer would be x to the fourth. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. So negative 2x cubed. I don't know why I wrote squared. And then 2 plus negative 15 is negative 13. This is an imaginary 1. Negative 13 plus 1 is negative 12. So that goes there. 6 plus negative 5 is positive 1x, which could be just x. And then positive 2 comes at the end. So altogether, this is what we get. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. So we got x squared, 3x, and 1. And then the next one, x squared has to go on this column. The 2, my constant, has to go here. So technically, this is a 0. So everything times this will be 0. So you won't need to do anything there. So x squared times x squared, x to the fourth. X squared times 3x, 3x cubed. X squared times 1, x squared. Negative 2 times x squared, negative 2x squared. Negative 2 times 3x, negative 6x. Negative 2 times 1, negative 2. All right. So now we're going to combine our like terms. And then we're going to write everything in order. So x to the fourth, 3 plus 0 is 3, so 3x cubed. Negative 2 plus 0 plus 1 is negative 1. So negative 1x squared is just negative x squared. Negative 6 plus 0 is negative 6. And then negative 2. All right, so here on this page, you'll get to do your own practice. So I'll let you do your own practice here. I just wanted to show you how we would do this here on this page. All right, so we have x minus 3, x plus 2, negative x plus 1, and x squared, just like we had before. So if we were to multiply them, we can multiply them by the box method. So this is talking about f times g of x. So f is x minus 3, g is x plus 2. So x times x is x squared. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. 2 times x is 2x. And negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Add these together. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative x. Okay, so if we were to write our coordinate, that's what our coordinate would be. Now, why is this important? Because we can just take this information that we know and we can just plug in negative 1 into this. Okay, so for example, we have negative 1. So we're going to do negative 1 into this equation. So negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. Now we're going to do negative 1 into that equation. So negative 1 plus 2 is 1. So I know that negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, which means if I put in negative 1 into this equation, I should get negative 4. So negative 1 squared becomes a positive 1. Negative and a negative become a plus. And then 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Correct. So my coordinate is negative 1, negative 4. So that's how you're going to do this page. You can either choose to just plug in the number and then multiply them, or you can do this work first, plug in your negative 1, and make sure that you get the same answer here. All right, so this is going to be another practice page. Now, if you decide you don't want to do the box method, you can do FOIL. So I'm just going to show the FOIL people how we would do FOIL, and then we'll be done. Okay, foiling, you're going to take this, multiply those two together, you get x cubed. Some people like to FOIL. Multiply those two together, you get 3x squared. And you go here. Multiply those together, you get negative 4x squared. Multiply those two together, you get negative 12x. Last, multiply those together, you get 4x. And then multiply these two together, and you get 12. And then you're just going to combine your like terms. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Negative 12 plus 4 is negative 8. And then that stays the same. So you may need to stop and rewind and replay that part of the video because I did go through it kind of fast. But just know if you want to FOIL, you have to take this and multiply it to every piece. And then take this and multiply it to every piece. And then take this and multiply it to every piece. So it's 3 different times you're going to do the FOIL. So finish up this page either doing FOIL or doing box method. Okay, but that is your video on multiplying and dividing polynomial functions.